Good evening and welcome to the Chatham Airport Commission meeting of Wednesday, October 11th, 2021, beginning at 5 p.m. This is a remote participation only meeting with a concurrent live broadcast on channel 18. Pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 signing of an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, including the extension of his March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, section 30A, subsection 20 until April 1st, 2022. This meeting of the Chatham Airport Commission is being conducted via remote participation only. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would, persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 508-945-4410 with conference ID 840-271-059#. Or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on channel 18, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide for real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. If all of the commissioners who are present could turn on their screens, I'll go with the roll call. And open your mics, please. Thank you. Commissioner Burke?
Here.
Commissioner Cortese?
Here.
Commissioner Donovan? Commissioner Galen?
Here.
Commissioner Owens?
Here. Having trouble with my video.
Okay. If you can get it, fine. If not, don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wilcox? I believe I got a note earlier saying that she would not be in attendance this evening. And Commissioner Harrison here. The minutes for the July 14th, 2021 meeting were posted. Do any commissioners have any questions, additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of July 14th, 2021.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Commissioner Burke?
Accept.
Thank you. Commissioner Cortese? Did we
Accept.
lose you? Commissioner Donovan is not here. Commissioner Galen?
Yes.
Commissioner Owens?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrison? Yes. Let me just do this real quick. We're missing Donovan, Wilcox, and Mike Galen disappeared. I mean, Mike Cortese disappeared. I think he has a bad connection. All right, hopefully he'll come back. But I think we had enough to accept the minutes. Let's see, there was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're good. All right. Next on the agenda is public announcements and agenda item requests for the September meeting. I have, let's see, I see one hand. Ms. Lofgren.
Good evening, Chairman Harrison. Yes, I have 3 requests, please. The first is that on your right now published agenda item requests from a previous meeting, there are 8 outstanding agenda item requests that were listed as to be incorporated into the presentation of environmental assessment topics going back to October of 2020. I would request that those be presented before the EA is accepted. To my knowledge, none of these topics have been dealt with, otherwise they would have been crossed out.
Okay. So these are 8 agenda topics from last time that you mentioned regarding the EA. Did I lose you? Ms. Lofgren, you're muted. I can't.
Oh, sorry about that, Huntley.
You said 8 agenda items regarding the EA.
Yes, this is on the 2021 list.
From July?
My second agenda item request would be a full fiscal end of year report, financial report for the year 2021 for all of the airport accounts. And my third request would be for a budget presentation for this fiscal year. You are required to have a budget as part of being an airport commission. And so be interested to see what your revenue and opposite of revenue, whatever you have to pay out, what your budget looks like for this coming year.
Okay. So fiscal year 21 end of year report. Okay. And budget request. Okay, thank you.
For all of the,
And I think I can put your hand down. Yes, I can. I think I have the ability to put your hand down. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay.
All right. Let's see who's next. I've got 2 up here. I don't know who was first, so I'll pick. I think it's Stephen Buckley. Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question or a comment. I guess it's more of a question.
Is this an agenda item request or just an announcement?
It follows in with the idea being that there's a lot of need for clarification. The previous just what the previous speaker was requesting, that we clear up the backlog about how to clear up questions about the environmental assessment. And so would you please clarify for me now whether or not we're supposed to comment now or later about new business items?
Which new business items?
Any new business item.
That's coming up in part 3. Next agenda item.
Okay. And then I will wait for that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's see who else I have here. I've got Commissioner Cortese, you have your hand up.
Yes, Chairman Harrison, I just want to see if it's my connection. I've shut my video off to try to improve it, or if it's widespread through the system, but you're coming in awfully broken. I could understand Ms. Lofgren pretty well, but is anybody else having that same issue? Or is it just isolated?
So far, I think we're good. It might be just your location.
Okay, I'll keep my video off for now for that reason then, and you're fine now. So we'll hopefully stay the same.
Okay,
That's what it's from.
all right. And Mr. Haas, you have your hand up?
Yes, I do, Chairman Harrison. I just have one agenda item request, and that is a little bit of background. As you probably know, I'm pretty familiar with all the content on the website, including, content that exists for the airport manager, and so forth. And it just occurred to me, stepping back, and I think in agreeing that there has been a lot of controversy and things that the commission has done. One thing that's just I believe glaringly missing, from the web is just some context, historical information about things that are actually of interest to people who don't want to know the technical details of all the government regulation and so forth, but just would be interested in knowing what is Chatham Airport all about. And I just noticed that many airports in our region have a when you click on for example Plymouth Municipal Airport, you get a lot of information which gives you context and all of the things that the airport does for the community. And so my agenda item request is to put on the agenda a discussion of that topic, and with perhaps some thoughts as to whether or not it would make sense to have something on the web that is gives positive information about the airport.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see, I don't see any other hands on my list, so I think we can go on from there. Yes, unless there's someone else with an agenda item request or an announcement. If there is, just go ahead. Okay, hearing none, I will move ahead. These are public comments on new business items. Okay, Ms. Lofgren.
Yes, Chairman Harrison, I'm wondering, I have some questions about.
You just cut out. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
I'm not muted.
Oh, there you go. Now now you're back.
Okay, thanks. My computer went on hold for your session. It's not clear on whether or not the questions that I have for each of the agenda items, do you want me to list them all now before you start, or will we be able to ask questions as the evening progresses?
What kind of are you talking about? You have questions about the EA?
No, I have one about the about the EA, the commission webpage, the planning board meeting, and also the
Nope, we just lost you again. I can't hear you.
No, because the program itself keeps freezing. I'm getting the impression you may not want to talk to me. The question was whether or not we can ask questions as the evening progresses, or do you want a listing of them all now?
I'd like a listing now.
Okay. For the commission report for the finances, I have a question on the revolving fund. In July, there are 2 rental lease receipts, but it doesn't say from whom those rental lease receipts are coming from. And there's.
Just lost you again.
Dollars paid out. There's no listing of what those invoices were for.
You were cut out. So the last thing I heard was you wanted to know who those in the revolving fund report, who the two leases were.
The two lease payments and also the payments to Cape Cod Flying Circus. There's no notation made for what those invoices were about.
No, in the revolving fund, it's not. That's the way the town accounts for it. And I can tell you right up front here, I don't have them in front of me. So if you send me something, I can probably let you know what they're for, but just at the meeting, I can't.
Okay, I'll email you that question. On the engineer's report for the EA, two questions. One is it asked if you received the Board of Health letter dated August 5th that recommends all of the EPA recommendations be fully addressed.
Yeah, I can answer that one that they have been.
So you have been, okay. And my other question was about the EA. Have you reached out to the community in any other way than online, making this report available for comment to people who may not be able to access it from your?
There's a copy, or actually a couple of copies in Town Hall.
Oh, thanks. That's
in the lobby.
Okay, thank you. On the Airport Commission webpage, reporting airport concerns, I had a question with calling the FAA if you see something in the air that you have a question about. I've not been successful in that regard before. And I also want to point out that under 702 CMR 5.08 under airport managers, the duties of the airport manager is to be responsible for the observance and the operation of the airport of all applicable laws governing aeronautics and the rules and regulations adopted. Is my reading of this that it is not just ground operations, but this is also operations in the vicinity of the airport?
Nope. Anything in the air is the FAA.
Could we have some clarification from Mass Aeronautics about that? Because when you call FAA, in my experience and others, that if you call with a question about, say, your example is low-flying aircraft, what you were told is that as just a citizen, I'm not qualified to identify low-flying aircraft, that I could get training for that. And unless I do have that training, then they will not consider my report. So there's some disconnect there with being able to get through to someone who could help with the issue. My last, actually, that's the last one I'm going to do for tonight. Thank you.
So this is what I have, just to recap. I have a question about the revolving fund report and 2 rental payments, hangar rentals, right?
No, there were 2 lease payments, but it doesn't list who those leases were from, and it's not in the hangar. It's not in the hangar account.
All right.
It's in the regular.
I can check that. I can probably, if I knew the amounts, I could probably tell you what they were. Do you have it in front of you?
Oh yeah, one is for $2,100, and the other one is for $3,168. I think the $3,168 is probably Cape Cod Flying Circus.
That's correct.
And there's one
$2,100. I have a feeling that was one I wanted to question myself. I have a feeling that is in there incorrectly, and I have to follow up on that, and I just haven't done it.
Okay.
Are there any others?
There's one made the 9th, just a week before, for $2,100.
So they're 2? No, I thought there was only one for $2,100.
There's one for $2,100 and one for $3,168.
Right. Well, the $3,168, I told you, that's probably more than likely Cape Cod Flying Circus. The $2,100 is one that I have to follow up on. I have a feeling it belongs somewhere else.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
We don't have a final closeout for fiscal year 21 from the town yet. because they would have sent it to me for the meeting had they done it.
So in the course of the payments of all of these, there's no written record of what payments are for or amounts, or other than this kind of spreadsheet
Yeah,
that's in the.
well, I mean, we do have records. Of course, we have to have records, but on the town accounting system, it just goes in the way you see it in the revolving fund report.
Is there a way to, well, I'm sure there must be a way to access that since you're going to get the information about those invoices. Okay.
I mean, that's just the way that accounting system is. It spells it out in minimalist form. But I mean, we do have the signed invoices and everything. So, all right.
Sorry, Huntley.
And then the other one I have here is the Board of Health request, which I think I answered.
Yep.
And then the other one I have is the Airport Commission webpage and the reporting. But I think I answered that as well.
If you could get some clarification on that, or give me a contact for clarification on that.
Yep. Okay, good. All right. Let's see, Mr. Buckley, your hand's up again.
Yes, is this the time to
Yep, this is for
because
comment.
I just as soon wait if rather than mix, since there's so
Go
many,
right
6 items, 6 A, B, C, D, E, F, to mix them all together, and maybe we better to comment as each item comes up.
Well, which items are you referring to?
Well, and the environmental assessment, but I'm not sure what the new policy is, that whether it addresses that or not, but maybe the chairman's discretion. I was just making the idea that rather than having a whole bunch of people coming forward with their questions on various items, just like Ms. Lofgren did, that you go down the list and you talk about each one in turn. But anyway, since I'm only talking about one, it has to do with the public notice of availability that appeared in the Cape Cod Chronicle last week, and is also, I note, is on the website, on the Commission's website for people who don't subscribe to the Chronicle. But it says that it says that the airport, Chatham Municipal Airport, has completed an environmental assessment. And then it says, but send your comments about it to the FAA.
Yep.
So it's a little confusing in the sense, like who's this and so whose document is this? Who put in this note? I have a question about the notice, but I don't know who to address it to, whether it's the FAA or the airport or the commission.
Let me see if I can help you there. And then if not, perhaps our engineer, Matt Caron, or if Richard Doucette is online, he might be able to answer. But let me take a stab at that. We put together the environmental assessment with Gale Associates. And from our point of view, we completed the environmental assessment. We then sent it off to the FAA and opened up a comment period, which is actually twice the length of normal comment periods of 6 to 60 days, for people to comment and ask questions and send their questions off to the FAA. Right now, that document is in the hands of the FAA. So yes, we did complete it. It's now in the hands of the FAA to add in any comments they feel are pertinent to the EA and make any changes that might be relative to those comments. The EA has not been returned to us yet. They are still working on it. We will probably have some report back in September. Does that help?
Yes, it tells me how much you know about it. Thank you. But the thing is that if it's being presented as a final, that the confusing part to me, and having worked on these documents myself, not these particular ones, but with a lot of experience, is the idea of putting out a final document of any kind, whether it's an environmental impact statement or an assessment or new zoning regulations, whatever, that if it's final, the public is confused about whether or not, like, wait a minute, we commented on the draft, and yes, and now the comments are listened to, like it says right here at the bottom of the notice. All substantive comments will be carefully reviewed in accordance with federal regulations, blah, blah, so forth and so on. So supposedly at some point, the next version should at least indicate that something, a comma, a paragraph has been changed, whatever. And then then you can say, oh, okay, we changed it in response to these comments. Here's the new version. But if you call it final, then that's the end of the story. So I haven't gone over the new version because it's just very confusing, even for someone with my experience, to try to figure out what the heck is going on if this is the final.
Well, let me see if I can get a clarification if either Matt Caron or Richard Doucette would like to chime in.
Okay. I'd like to know, Mr. Chairman, what your thought is on that before we turn it to the experts.
I just gave you my thought.
No, on that, no. I asked this a particular question just now. What's the difference between the...
You just cut out. You just went mute.
Sorry. What's the specific question is, what is the difference between the previous version and this quote unquote final version? And what I'd like to know what your understanding of that is. Why is there a final with commenting going on? Do you have any idea?
Like I said, it was our version we felt was our final version that we sent to that we submitted to the FAA.
Okay, so that's not the FAA's final version.
No.
Okay, see, this is
that help?
Teasing it out the questions. This is not the final EA. This is your final draft for the EA, for the FAA to be presented to the FAA. The FAA is the one who issues environmental assessments. You guys are not required by any law.
That's correct.
To do anything, even though the notice says that you're complying with the National Environmental Policy Act. Nope, the FAA is, not you. So we're clarifying that it's confusing unnecessarily. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comments on new business items? Okay. Moving on to new business. Any commissioner reports? Mr. Burke, your commissioner report on the revolving fund?
Yes. As you indicated, we haven't received the final closeout for FY21. However, for the first month of FY22, that would have been July, we received a total of rental receipts of $5,868.77. Part of which is that $2,100 figure that you're going to be looking into. So that was also, it also appeared on the July figures. There was expended $113.62 for personal services, and the purchase of services of $5,453.94 for a total of $5,567.56. There were lease receipts of $4,200 received, and our year-to-date figures show that we have $28,488 debited, $397,274 credited, with a balance of $368,786 balance.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Commissioner Cortese, do you have anything?
Not today.
Okay.
Chairman, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Donovan, did you come online at all? Nope. Okay. Commissioner Galen?
Not at this moment. Thank
Okay.
you.
Commissioner Owens?
Yeah, it's just very brief. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was recently confirmed to me that all the renters at the fisherman storage area have been officially notified by the town that they need to have all the equipment out of the area and the area cleaned by mid-November. The fishermen have known they were going to have to vacate for many months, so hopefully they're working with the town to find a place to relocate. We're also looking into a few future uses of the area, and we should have some good information on these ideas, most likely at a commission meeting after the area is vacated. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Commissioner Wilcox is not here, and I have nothing for this evening. We'll move on to the airport manager's report. Mr. Howard, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. Can you see me?
Yep, you're on.
Okay. All right. Let's fix this here. All right. So the management report there, starting on item number 1, you have the guard report for July 2021 attached. You can clearly see from that report the number of bad weather days that we've been having here. Not a lot of good weather this season yet. If there's any questions on that. Item number 2, the Monomoy Community Services hangar music entertainment event that was held on Monday evening, July 26th. That was ended a successful event for all parties. Monomoy Community Services Director Teresa Malone was thrilled with the event, and the venue and the turnout was thrilled with the event, the venue and the turnout, and has inquired again about doing it next year with a slightly different setup. Which we are happy to work with her on because it was quite successful. The volunteers at Monomoy Community Services were on the ball. They cleaned up and got it set up very, very quickly, minimal impact to airport operations, and we assisted them as we could. But it was a good event for all parties, and I definitely would be more than happy to participate in that again. Teresa did send us a summary of the event, which I'd like to read, if that's okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so she writes an email form to myself. We had approximately 130 people attend and raised approximately $7,400 from sponsors, the cover charge raffle, and the Devil's Purse sales combined. What exceeded our expectation more than anything else was how willing the airport staff was to make a brand new event successful. In 30 years of doing local fundraising, I can't remember ever being so supported in our efforts to try and get a fundraiser started and approved at a town venue. We would like to see 150 to 175 people in attendance in the future or more, but given the number of other high-profile events that night, we were very happy with the turnout. The general vibe of the night and the level of enjoyment the guests demonstrated was just what we needed. I was very laid back in the truly unique location. Thank you. We'd love to work again with you on something similar next year. Teresa Malone. So overall, that event went over very well. Item number 3 on the manager's report, ongoing working on this crack ceiling quotation. We just had some progress yesterday, finally, of the 3 bidders that we solicited, which is an update from what's written here in the report. We actually, 2 of the bidders finally decided to no bid. So we currently have 1 valid bid from Indus, and we confirmed that their quotation meets the MassDOT and FAA crack ceiling specifications. So we'll be going to the next step. That I'm sure probably has to come under commission review for perhaps the next meeting or sooner. I'm not sure, but that is moving forward. Other than that, that's all I have to report today on the airport manager's report. If there's any questions.
I just want to comment that I was at the fundraiser. I thought it was well attended. It was a fun time for a lot of people. I think the area that you all set up for the fundraiser was good. I think the control we had over the crowd was also good. I think it minimized the amount of work that you had to do in terms of cleanup. I'm sure it wasn't easy, but it was probably a lot less than if people had been, going in and out of the building and doing all that. So I think that was good, and I think it bodes well to do it again for next year.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm all for it. It's good. Anybody else have anything? Commissioner Owens?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I also attended the event, and it really came together pretty well. Everybody was having a good time. There were a bunch of young people there in the beginning, and a lot of interest in being at the airport, being able to see in the hangar at the planes and looking at all the planes that were tied down. And there were several that takeoffs and landings during the event that didn't seem to disrupt it. And I think we probably picked up quite a few new pro airport people. So all in all, it was a great event. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you for your guys' help.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the the airport manager's report?
Moved.
Second.
Okay. Second, we've got a motion and a second. Okay, all those in favor, Commissioner Burke?
Aye.
Commissioner Cortese?
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Donovan, not here. Commissioner Galen? You're muted. Okay, I think I'll take that as a yes, even though you're muted, you shook your head. Commissioner?
Yes.
Yes, accept.
Okay, Commissioner Wilcox is gone, and Commissioner Harrison, yes. So the manager's report is accepted. And we'll move on to the engineer's report. Mr. Karen, you're there.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, members of the Chatham Airport Commission. So for this month, just want to report and maybe touch upon the EA a little bit more. So when the draft environmental assessment was put up onto the Commission's website, there was a 30-plus day public comment period. We received public comments, and working with the Airport Commission and the FAA, we've incorporated additional information into the final environmental assessment based on those comments where applicable, or where a response was actually warranted, including the recommendations from the Environmental Protection Agency, which was subsequently supported by the Chatham Board of Health. So all of that information has been incorporated into the final environmental assessment. Again, working with the FAA, we put forth a revision to that draft EA, the final environmental assessment for the FAA's consideration. They're the ones, the FAA that is, that are going to be making the determination on the environmental assessment. And although they're not required to do so, the FAA had asked that we put up another public comment period, another 30 days for any final comments, just because there was a lot of interest on the draft environmental assessment itself. So there's another 30-day public comment period. The information on where to send comments or questions to Richard Doucette is up on the Commission's website. Sorry there, Huntley. Huntley, can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Huntley, you seem to be muted. You're still muted, Huntley. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'll keep my eye on it.
Mr. Chair, did I cut out, or were you asking me a question? I apologize.
No, just back up a little bit.
Okay, so the final environmental assessment is sitting with the FAA, and before they make a final determination on the environmental assessment, they're seeking additional public comment or questions through September 3rd, 2021.
Okay. So
that's all I have on that.
So people who have any further questions or comments have that much time to contact them.
Correct. That's correct. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Assuming no other questions with that, the only other item I have on the with respect to the airport master plan. Huntley, somehow my microphone keeps getting muted.
So does mine.
It's like physically, I don't know if someone's doing it or what, but I'll see if I can get through this quickly. So
we might be having some security issues here. I don't know who's doing it, but
I'll keep an eye on it. But I'll be brief here. The last item is the master plan. I have received the signed documents from you, Mr. Chairman, on the final closeout package for that, and that has been sent off to the FAA for their internal closeout processes. And there's nothing more to report on that, and that'll be coming off of our monthly update as we move forward.
Okay. And the second item was we talked about the EA. Yeah, I guess that's it
Yep.
then.
Just the EA and the master plan. Yep.
Yep.
So if anyone has any additional comments on the revisions to the environmental assessment, I would recommend highly that they send those off to Richard Doucette at the FAA.
Okay. All right. Moving on, we need to accept the engineer's report. I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Burke.
Do we need a motion first?
Yes.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. With these mics going in and out, it's kind of tough. I'd like to entertain a motion for accepting the engineer's report.
So moved.
Motion.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Burke?
You want to second it?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Commissioner Cortese? Are you there?
That hit pretty hard.
Commissioner Cortese?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Commissioner Galen?
Yes.
Commissioner Owens?
Yes.
And Commissioner Harrison? Yes. Okay.
No, hell.
Engineer's report is accepted. I would ask the public if they would please be careful about their mics. Make sure you're muted unless you raise your hand, and also make sure your video is off. That improves the signal. Let's see. Next on the agenda is the Airport Commission webpage and reporting aircraft and airport concerns. We have put, and this, Ms. Lofgren, you might be interested in this, but, and you probably know it already, but we've put a link on the page. It's a separate link for reporting aircraft and airport concerns and the different agencies and phone numbers that you need to do that. I would say that certainly, if anything in the air is noticed and you call the airport, I think that would be certainly within your rights. I don't know if they would be able to, to answer your question. It could be a transient aircraft, or it could be someone just not even landing and passing through. It's hard to tell. But anyway, there are methods now, reporting methods that are now easier to find on the website. And that's the only thing I have about that. Moving on to the next item is the planning board meeting report. And I'm sorry to say that I do not have a report from the planning board meeting. There was no determination made by the planning board at Monday night's meeting, and they're going to continue it until their next meeting or a subsequent meeting after that. I'm not sure, but we will be working with them to come up with a plan for the zoning of the runway protection zone. And that's basically all I can report on that. We thought we would get something substantive from them, but they they had a kind of a hung jury the other night and did not make a determination. So that's all I can say there. Moving on to the item F here, the National Coast Guard Association, they want to use our outside parking to the left of the runway, not to the left of the runway, to the left of the hangar buildings, down toward the SRE. I'll read you a letter that I have here from Mr. Takasian. It says, the National Coast Guard Museum Association is tasked with building the National Museum for the United States Coast Guard. The museum, scheduled to open late in 2024, will be located in historic New London, Connecticut. On Thursday, September 2nd, 2021, the association, in partnership with the Barnstable Heritage Museum and the 1st Coast Guard District Commander, will be hosting an awareness event at Coast Guard Station Chatham from 2 to 7 p.m. We anticipate between 75 and 125 guests and request permission to park vehicles at the Chatham Municipal Airport east side parking lot from the gravel next to the ramp entrance down towards the SRE building. Additionally, if we have overflow to park any additional vehicles inside the gate, just off the dirt road leading to the hangars, we will have attendants to direct the parking and a shuttle bus bringing people back and forth to the station. So what I need is a motion to accept that request, if someone could make that, and then we'll have some discussion if necessary.
Motion to accept the request.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mr. Commissioner Cortese, you made the motion?
Sure.
Okay. And then we have a second?
Second.
Okay. And Mr. Burke seconds it. And do we have any discussion? Mr. Takasian, I see you online. Would you like to make some comments?
I'm just available to answer any questions that you may have. The letter kind of spells it out. The event will be inviting a series of Coast Guard retirees that are both here on Cape Cod and the South Shore. And essentially the mission of the Museum Association is we are the folks that are actually building the brick and mortar for the museum. And the Coast Guard hopes to open it in 2024. And we go around the country and provide some of these awareness events, not only to Coast Guard retirees, but sometimes the public as well. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Are there any questions from any of the commissioners? I think it's certainly easy enough for us to do. I don't see any problems. You know, and as long as we, like you say, can arrange for overflow to park on the inside in that grassy area over toward the hangars, I think we'll be in good shape. And we know we have parking there anyway because we do it for the open house. So that would work. Okay. Any further discussion or comments?
Yeah, I just like to say I think it's a great benefit, and I'm glad the airport can help out.
Okay, good. Yeah, me as well. Me as well. All right, Commissioner Burke.
Yes.
Commissioner Cortese.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Galen.
Yes.
Commissioner Owens.
Yes.
And Commissioner Harrison, yes. So it carries. We're good to go. You can go ahead with your planning, Kyle.
Yes, thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome. Glad to be able to, we can help. Okay, thank you. All right, commissioners, any final comments? I'll go down the list. If you have any final comments for this evening before we close the meeting out. Commissioner Burke?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
You're good? Okay. Commissioner Cortese?
Just like to thank Mr. Howard for putting the effort in on the community services event. I drove by. I thought it looked fantastic, and it's a great benefit. And I'm glad that it worked out well for all.
Okay. Thank you. And Commissioner Galen?
I want to, since we're doing thank yous, I'd like to extend a thank you to Matt Karen for all of his work in the past several years with the AMPU, with the EA, et cetera. I know, yes, it is his job, but Matt's gone beyond just putting in the numbers and the hours and putting in his heart and soul and helping us out. Been there all the time, no matter when we ask him questions, he responds. He comes on to all the meetings we request him attending, and we appreciate it. Thank you, Matt.
I think we all echo that. Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Thank you,
you
guys.
so
Appreciate
much.
that.
Yep. And
For that as well. Here.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Owens. Any final comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Just want to thank Tim for always being open to use the airport for different events. And a lot of people have mentioned this summer they're looking forward to the open house next spring. And also thanks to Matt for all his hard work and Mr. Doucette for always standing by and his participation in helping us out.
All right. Okay. Looks like it's up to me to close out. I don't have anything in particular to add this evening. I think it's been a short meeting. It's hot summer evening, and I think we've covered our items. I will say to the public that with all the requests and all the emails we get, and I understand you might be frustrated in the response time. We are trying to respond. We are trying to improve our website and bring things up to a level that where we can find things a little easier and so on. So we are working on that. It's just it's a matter of time and effort and personnel, and it's very difficult, but we are working on it, and we will get to your questions and your agenda items as quickly as we can. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Burke?
Yes.
Commissioner Cortese?
Yes.
Commissioner Commissioner Galen?
Yes.
Commissioner Owens?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrison? Yes. All right. Thank you all very much for attending. Thank you, public, for being here and asking your questions. It always helps to have the information, and we'll see you in September. Thank you very much.
Thank you.